You know, we got a great, you know, Eddie Shaughnessy. You know all the great drummers.
Eddie Shaughnessy is one of my very favorite drummers.
He is a super drummer, and as a matter of fact, this is a thing called modern drummer. Which,
well, you don't have to show that.
Yes, on the cover, modern drummer. Our own Eddie Shaughnessy.
Are you a modern drummer?
He is a modern drummer.
Whoa.
Yes. And tonight, you two guys are going to get together.
We're going to get together.
Right.
And then after we do our number...
No, we can't do that tonight. We can't do that.
You're not going to do it? You don't have your card paid for.
We don't, that's right.
You're not
I don't have the card paid for.
Oh, well, okay.
And we're going to do this first.
Yeah?
This should be exciting. Here's Eddie Shaughnessy and Buddy Rich.
Here we go. This is my grandfather, Ed Shaughnessy, drummer from The Tonight Show. And I'm going to start off by asking him a few questions about himself as an introduction.
Hi. By the way, we should mention for younger people that my 30 years with The Tonight Show was with the host, Johnny Carson. Because there's so many guys that have gone through it, you know.
Mm-hmm. So Doc Severn's band.
Well, he was the band leader, but I'm talking about the host.
Oh, the host.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because now today, they would only know Jay Leno.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's true.
That is more modern.
He's going to retire soon, too.
What's your fondest memory from your career?
From what?
From your career?
My fondest memory from my career, from 60 years of my career.
Uh-huh.
I don't have a particular fond memory, but I do in a way. My wife and two boys went to Washington, D.C. with me, and I was the guest star with the U.S. Air Force Band in Washington, D.C. The U.S. Air Force Band is one of the greatest bands in the world. It's about 100 pieces, and I was featured on 2 or 3 pieces that I had written, and I think I was the most proud of my career with my wife and 2 boys in Washington, D.C.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite show that you played?
Yes, Judy Garland. I played a weekend with Judy Garland in the Borscht Belt, which is, that was the nickname for the Catskill Mountains of New York, which was a very famous vacation spot primarily for Jewish people. That's why they called it the Borscht Belt. And I had always idolized Judy Garland, and the fact that I got called to play 2 shows with her thrilled me no end. Especially when she said after the end of the second night, I wish I could take you to California with me. Made my day.
Yeah, and that kind of ties to how you were in New York, correct?
Oh yeah, I was already established in New York. I was, even for Judy, I wasn't about to leave.
So how exactly did you get started in New York?
I got started in New York by walking around when I was about 16 with a little snare drum, that's a small drum, and a stand and a pair of drummer brushes, looking for some place I could go and sit and play. And I met a very kindly black gentleman named George DeVivier, who later became the greatest bass player in New York jazz later. And he invited me in to play with him and a piano and a guitar. He saw me walking and said, "Where are you going with that drum?" It's in my book if you want to double check it. And I said, "I'm looking for a place to play." He said, you found it. Come on in here. And it was a little tiny nightclub called the Village Corners. You've heard of Greenwich Village, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Well, Greenwich Village was known for small clubs in New York City. And I used to walk around there, and I got lucky, and then they let me come in 2 nights a week with my little drum, and they'd get me a stool, and I'd sit and play. And they were so good, and I was so young that George...
How old were you at the time?
I was 16, 17,
wow.
16.
16.
And George was 10 years older than me. He was already a mature, fine bass player. But later, he and I worked together for about the next 20 years in New York, a lot.
Who are your ultimate inspirations when you were in the drumming business? Your inspirations.
My inspirations. Well, the greatest drummer of them all by sheer gift and talent was Buddy Rich. But the most famous drummer of all was Gene Krupa, who was the master showman. And as Buddy Rich sometimes said, with a little false anger, because he loved Gene, I can hit 8 cymbals in the time it takes him to hit 1, and the way he hits the 1, he gets more applause than my 8. But they were an inspiration. And then a great drummer named Louis Belson took me under his wing like a mentor, and would practice with me when I was 16 and 17. And Louis Belson, in a way, was the biggest influence of all the people that I met, and a great black drummer named Big Sidney Catlett. He used to let me sit in a nightclub when I was 16.
Wow. Okay, well, we're at 5 minutes already, so thank you so much for everything.
You're very welcome. And as I told you, it goes by very fast, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Thank you.